supposed to happen. Let's start that up. Sorry about that. Okay. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Welcome to HeCsUsAll YouTube channel. So I hope that intro wasn't too long for you. I wanted to do something to allow people to come in into the stream and into the chat and everything. I have a few different videos for you guys of times that celebrities tried to speak out against the, it's in the title. There's a lot more, but I didn't wanna have, like, too much video time. I know you guys can probably name a bunch of different celebrities off the top of your head that spoke out about it. This video that I put together was already copyrighted, because of the DMX clip I'm gonna use, but I found a Coolio clip after I put my video together, and I'd like to start the video out with this because he actually talks about being afraid for himself and his family. Um, so let me just get this screen going here. And like I said, this one's Coolio. He was giving an interview and he talks about the Illuminati. He kind of puts it as in like, oh, it could all be all in my head. It's very interesting the way he words everything. Let's just get this going for you guys. Here we go. All right, hold on. I'm not screen sharing now. So I have Coolio. I have a Disney star, I believe, is one of them, and I have another woman who is a SoundCloud rapper right now. But she raps on World Star Hip Hop and other things like that. So, excuse me. Um, she hasn't moved up, and in her interview, I believe she tells us why. So, we're gonna get started with that one. Here we go. So, full screen this. And now, just a trigger warning. You guys can hear me now, right? I'm guessing. So, there is a trigger warning with this. This woman, some of the things she says is vulgar. Uh, some of the things are, definitely not appropriate, but this is only like a 3-minute interview, and halfway through it, she starts to talk about the Illuminati. There's a fly flying around. I don't know if you guys can see it. And it's pretty interesting what she has to say. Again, she's like some kind of SoundCloud rapper. She's not where she that's not actually where it starts, but when we get to that, again, some vulgar speaking, SoundCloud rapper, she's not where she could be because she turned them down. She, does stuff for World Star. I don't know if you guys have seen that on, like, Facebook and stuff, but she's pretty big, she's popular. I'll get her name for you guys as this is playing, and there we go. I'm just gonna let it go.
You guys still be having them little secret meetings with robes and skulls and all that shit? I heard 2 Chainz told me about that.
What?
He said that y'all had like skulls with diamonds and all kind of shit.
Lying like a
robe.
motherfucker.
Oh.
2 Chainz up there. Are you serious? He said that?
Oh no, man.
Full of shit.
So
Always.
like some Illuminati type shit or
Yeah,
something?
it was like vanilla. Y'all were drinking vanilla.
I don't know nothing about it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe they be.
Now, see, they're not supposed to talk about these things, and they have been recently, I'd say within probably the last 10, 15. Well, it's been going on since the 90s, but before when it was talked about, like they were just taken out. I think now it's talked about and accepted by the elite because it's just so out there and in our face. I think they believe that they've reached their goal and that they can put it right in our faces and we won't know any better. Like their brainwashing, their techniques are complete. You can tell with the way he smiles and stuff, like he's denying whatever was said, but something strange happened for sure.
Get out of there.
Behind my back, man.
And I apologize for the audio of the first couple videos. It's like really blown out sounding. It gets better after those.
I don't know. You know, they need to let me know though. So.
Speaking of Kanye, real quick.
What's the most amount of money you've been?
Okay, so her name is Libra DeVille. Libra DeVille. I'm not sure. I don't personally know her music or anything, but this was an interview she gave. The whole thing's kind of awkward, but the beginning of it speaks about like the sex parties that we've all heard of that happen in these mansions and such. She says she's been invited to a couple of those, and then she gets into how she was approached and invited into the Illuminati.
Been offered.
Also, she's not a big name known well-known rapper. And is that because she turned them down? Probably.
For something that you turned down.
Let me see. Probably threesomes. Yeah. I just be turning them down. Like, folks will hit me in the club or see me in the club and be.
Hold on a second, because this isn't even the video I wanted to start you guys out with, because I know I'm going to lose a lot of you guys before we get to the very, very end. I want to show you guys the Coolio video first, and then we'll get back to that one. Because you can hear fear in his voice. Here we go. And what he says, this isn't right. Stop. No. What he says lines up with everything else that we're going to hear after that. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties today, guys. I didn't do my stream on Sunday because I had a seizure. I have neurological problems and I have seizures and a bunch of other issues that I don't really like to mention. But after I have a seizure, sometimes I'm just a little hazy in a way. So, sorry about that. Now we can get this going. I don't know what happened there. But this interview, I thought, was the most interesting, and I found it after I put the video together, so I had to put it in, and I want to do it first. You guys see the screen? Yes. Okay, here we go. What is going on? It keeps changing. Are you guys seeing this? I'm trying to show you the video, and it keeps playing a different random video. You guys are seeing this, right? Okay, one more time. Benny Keys was up there for a second. And now you guys can't see it yet. Oh my God. This is crazy. It's like it doesn't want me to show you guys this. Here we go. Let's do this again. You guys got it? Yes. Don't play a different video. Okay, here we go.
In the industry a long time. How was it in the music industry? That whole conversation about the gatekeeper drill, you know, the rituals, things people got to do, blood sacrifice thing. You know, I don't know if you got into all that, but can you kind of go there, being as though you were in the belly of the beast in the music industry?
I've read about all of that, and I only can say my truth, and you would think that with the height of success that I had and the things I was able to do, the amount of records I sold, and actually the amount of I don't want to say political power, but the amount of social power that I was able to achieve, you would think that I would be a prime candidate for just to be, so we could say we could call it something for to be a member of the Illuminati or a member of the elite society or whatever. You would think that they would come at me, and I think they did it sideways though. Nobody never got at me directly and said, "We want you to join us, and we're doing this." That's never happened. But I will tell you, I've had.
Okay, so he says that he was never approached and we want you to join us, we want you to do this, right? I feel like sometimes they only let out a little bit of the truth. Like, I'm pretty sure this man was approached by somebody. In the next video I'm going to play of that Lebra DeVille, she says she was approached. And from what I've learned over the years and what I've heard over the years is that they are always approached in person. So I do think he was approached. I think he's afraid to say too much. So he's very careful about how he's wording things. Just pay attention because you can actually hear fear in his voice.
Motherfuckers come at me on some weirdo shit, like on some gay shit. I've had motherfuckers come at me on some, "Oh, you should do this" type shit. And I was like, what? Man, why the fuck would I do that? That make no sense. I view that as being inhuman. I view that as I would never do that. So, and then right when there was some things that I was trying to do that I felt were important, things that I felt would help other people, shit started happening to me. Went to jail for some bullshit. Got convicted. Well, not necessarily convicted, but because I didn't do no time, no real time, but little shit started happening, and I didn't even address the shit really, because who the fuck, and when you're a celebrity, bro, when something happens.
Now, this comment here, they blackmail them by way of filming them with children, etc. That's very true. And that Deborah Lavelle, she has something to say about that as well. And the funny thing is, whenever these celebrities come out about the Illuminati, about the 1% club, the elite, the secret society, about that whole jumbled mess. Every time they come out, their stories may be so different, but they're so same at the same time. They're so similar that it has to be true.
Whether it's true or it's not true, once it's been said, for most people it's true, because people don't do research to find out if something is true about a person or not. Whatever they hear, they deem it to be true. So I didn't go hard on, "Oh, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, I didn't do that." It never happened. I just let the shit die down, continued on my life. Also, I'm at a point right now in my life where there's a lot of shit I know that I want to tell people. It's a lot of things that I want to teach, but I'm afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm scared because I got 4 grandchildren, and
You see that? There's a lot he wants to expose. Coolio's, he's back in the day rapper. We're talking 80s, early 90s. He's one of the originals. He probably knows quite a bit. He's been around a long time. He doesn't partake nowadays, according to him, but he feels the need to speak out about what he saw behind closed doors. He feels the urge, he feels that it's his responsibility. And at the same time, he's terrified to do so. Um, all of the people I'm using for this stream tonight feel this way. And one of them at the very end, the Disney star, she's trying to completely turn around.
And I got children that are in this world. I got people I care about. And I got people that I care about that don't necessarily believe what I believe.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I have no fear of death. And I think that those that would oppose my beliefs, they've probably done enough. If somebody's after me or if somebody's watching me, then they know enough about me to know that I have no fear of death. So killing me don't mean shit. It just confirms that what I said was true.
Now, I half wonder when he says this, right? Because he says that he has no fear of death, right? I half wonder, I definitely think he's afraid. I definitely hear fear in his voice, and I definitely believe that he fears for his family. But I half feel like when he says, I'm not afraid of death, and they know that. And if they were following me or they were keeping tabs on me, they would know I'm not afraid of death. So that's why, they're not going to kill me. It's almost like reverse psychology, right? Like that he's playing on them. He feels the need so badly to speak out about what he knows. But he's also trying to like protect himself by saying like, oh, well, I'm not afraid of death. Death isn't going to scare me. But at the same time, it would be throwing his family under the bus. And I do believe he fears for his family. And I don't think him saying that he's not afraid of death, that he thinks they'd come for his family, is him in turn like purposely sending whoever after his family instead of him. I think it's just kind of like some truth slipped in there. And the truth is he fears for his family. He doesn't want them coming for his family. And the lie was that he's not afraid of death, but he feels like if he says that, they won't kill him. It's last ditch reverse psychology.
But I do have a fear of them hurting my family. So I'm quiet about certain things. I don't talk about everything I know because I don't want nobody in my family to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't want nothing to happen to my people. And if I owe them anything, I owe that to them. I owe them their lives, to be able to live their life and not be subjected to any type of harm because of something I did or said. It's already happened once. My oldest son did some time in prison, and he shouldn't have. It was his first offense. And I was going to court, and I seen people having cases that were way worse than his, and not even being their first offense, and them getting off. And they didn't have a better lawyer than he had. Some of them had fucking PDs, but they got off because.
If you don't know what a PD is, it's a public defender.
Whether they got off or not, it didn't matter to the world now. But by them doing what they did to my son.
So he's basically saying that because he wasn't following the rules, right? Like he wasn't doing what they wanted him to do to a T, that they and he does use the term they. He's very vague. It's just they. They punished his son to punish him. His son had a lawyer, I'm sure a very well-paid lawyer, and was sent to prison. Well, there were these other guys, and his son had no criminal record at the time. And then there were these other guys that we're coming up and seeing the judge with a criminal record, with a public defender. That's a state provided attorney. They get paid by the same people that the prosecutor gets paid for, that the judge gets paid for, that everybody within that courthouse gets paid for. Public defenders are supposed to be working for your best interest, but they're really not. They're working to make a deal with the state, and that's how that goes. He's saying he had a well-paid lawyer. His son went to jail while other guys with public defenders, past charges and worse charges were walking out the door. He saw that as punishment for not following in line.
Son, it made me kind of shut the fuck up. I stopped talking about what I was talking about at that time because I felt like I was being, and listen, I could be making this shit up in my head. It could be something. I realized that I would never know whether.
See, that's when he says it. See, I could be making this shit up in my head. That's him protecting himself. He knows damn well that there is a secret society. Like, obviously he knows that. I think he's only comfortable enough to speak about it today because everybody knows. Like, it's come to a point where everybody knows, and you're either of the group of people that know and believe it's real and know it's real and know that it's not a good thing. They're not looking out for our interests. Or you're part of the group of the people that just think it's like some fad, the all-seeing eyes, just, some new cool thing that kids wear, and the Illuminati's just a joke. They're making plenty of movies to make the Illuminati a joke. So now they can put it right in our faces and have no issue with that. I think that's the only reason he's comfortable speaking, because he wasn't comfortable back in the 90s.
Whether it's true or not, but just to make sure that it didn't happen again, I backed off. And now let me say, when I backed off, shit stopped happening. So I'm more inclined to believe that maybe I was right. Like I said, I can't say if it's true or not, but like I said, those things stopped happening to me. That kind of shit stopped happening to me. I stopped getting them weird messages. I stopped getting them weird emails.
See, and what's that? He stopped getting them weird messages and them weird emails. What does he mean by that? Threats, obviously. Blackmail, obviously. I'm betting that they've got some tapes that he's unaware of. That's how that runs. He's trying so hard to come out and tell the truth. Like, he feels the heaviness on his conscience. He feels the need to tell the truth. But at the same time, you can tell he's just so afraid.
I stopped having that feeling of being watched. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. But at the same time, I often wonder why if people
think of it this way. Okay. Now, who was it went down in the helicopter? The basketball player and his daughter that went down in the helicopter. Remember, there was a cartoon made years prior that depicted that basketball player in particular getting into a helicopter crash, right? So I feel like sometimes these people probably are meeting. Now, again, everything I say in any of my videos is my opinion, obviously. I'm not speaking facts 100%. These are my observations, my opinions. I encourage you all to do your own research and come up with your own opinions and observations. I am not defaming anybody in any way. Everything I say is an opinion. What if was it Kobe? It was, right? Okay. What if Kobe Bryant was shown that cartoon after it was made, right? Like, just hear me out for a second. Like, he was shown the cartoon but like right after it was made, and maybe he was falling out of line at this time. I'd like to actually do some research as to what year that cartoon was made and released, and maybe see what was going on with Kobe at that time. Was he like trading teams? Was he doing some movie? Was he doing something at that very same time? Like, did he possibly disagree to something and they showed him that and they were like, listen, you can do this or this is what's going to happen and we'll make you a hero, but your days with us are done. Who really knows? But it is interesting the fact that the cartoon was even made in there, and listening to Coolio speak, it's almost like, the emails and the letters and all the stuff he was receiving, they were threats. Fall in line or we'll take you out. Plain and simple.
Get on the internet and they say shit just for attention. Or they make up shit so that people will want to listen to what they have to say. And I bet you in at least 70, 85%, 70 to 80% of the times, they're doing it to get some fucking attention.
Okay.
And then 10% of the time, people are telling the truth. I've seen some crazy shit. I've seen some crazy shit, bro. I've seen some shit like, wow. I've seen some shit that made me go, what the fuck? Is this really happening right now?
Is it fair to say, Coolio, that your celebrity is the reason why your voice is in danger? Like, is you speaking
Say
out?
that one more time.
You being the celebrity that you are, and you being having the platform that you do, and your word obviously getting to masses and speaking somewhat to power. Is that the threat that comes to you, and it's the threat that is to them? Like, is your celebrity the reason why you feel as though you can't speak, and your family's life could potentially be in danger? Is that the reason? So in itself, it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah. At one point in my career, people was fucking really listening to me, and they were really taking to heart what I had to say. People believed in me. And when I started doing music, I did music. I made music because I wanted to be heard as a man. I felt like that what I had to say could help people, and it might be important. I had information, or I pay attention, and I might be able to help people. When I went platinum on my first album. When I went platinum, that meant that I went double platinum, actually. That meant that I sold 2 million records. Now, maybe, who knows?
Now,
Maybe
look at
one person bought.
Look at his face and the way he said that. Like, that means I sold maybe. And he makes this look like he doesn't even believe that he sold that many records. He makes this look like he knows that it was at the hands of others who made him what he was. Again, fall in line. I believe that there's different levels that these people have to meet, and that's like your threshold of how much money you're going to be making. The further and further up into the Illuminati you get, the worse and worse and worse the things are that you're doing, and it gets really bad. Remember, when they say God, like, they don't mean God, our Father, Father of Abraham, right? They don't mean God, God of Jesus, Father of humanity. When they say God, they mean Lucifer, because that is their God. There's that difference there.
100 copies. But who knows? But for all intents and purposes, then that means that 1 million people at least heard my voice and heard my point of view from a musical standpoint.
You see what I mean? He thinks he sold 2 million records, but that means at least 1 million people heard his voice. So when he says that, I feel like he's telling us he knows that they control who, who has the best song and who's going to go where, how popular is. I mean, that's obviously true. Sometimes it's like not really a good song and you hear it on the radio and you hear it over and over and over and over and over again. And the first time you heard it, you were like, oh, this is crap. And you changed the radio. But by like the 160th time, you know every word to it and you're bopping around to it. They do that on purpose. It's a type of mind control.
I've always been of the belief that if you have the opportunity to reach that many people, then you have the obligation to give them something that they need. Now, with music, you give people what they need because people hate. Most people don't like what they need. People like what they want. So I tried to mix it up. I tried to give people some of what they wanted, some of what they needed. I tried to create this balance. So that's why I came out with the records the way I came out with them. I do some fun shit, try to do some heavy shit, do some fun shit, do some heavy shit. That was my belief. I felt that was my obligation to the listeners or to my core fan base. I had the obligation to say something that they could use in their life on a daily basis to help them, not just do some shit that was fun or do some shit that was funny or do some shit that was gangster. I had to do some real shit too. So, and a lot of people don't give a fuck. All they do is give people what they want. And
I respect him for what he's saying, like, a lot. It's like he found a way to be involved in the Illuminati, right? And to be involved to make the money, but he also found a way to kind of like sneak behind their back and put in words of truth. So if you're actually listening to his raps, you're picking up on what he's throwing down. Unfortunately, with the way music is curated nowadays, a lot of people aren't listening to the words, even when they know every single word. They're not listening. It's a part of the mind control tactic.
if you look at music now, if you look at the world in general, from what I see, the balance is fucked up right now. If there's a such thing as evil and there's a such thing as good, with this hand being good and this hand being evil, then fucking evil's up here and goods. Wait, no, goods up here and evil's outweighing it like a motherfucker. Evil is fucking winning right now. And I don't know what y'all see, from what I see, evil is fucking winning right now. And music is part of that. Music fucking influences people. And I don't give a fuck what nobody say. A lot of people try to say, "Oh, it's not my responsibility to teach your children," or it's not what I say don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I say what the fuck I want to say, and blah 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 blah. That's some bullshit. That's bullshit. What you say, especially if you're as popular as a Eminem or a 50 Cent or a Kendrick Lamar or a Coolio, Ice.
And he also doesn't name himself first. Like, he doesn't say if you're as popular as a Coolio or an Eminem or a 50 Cent or, he lists these other rappers first. The man is humbled. Truth of the matter is, music has a huge, huge, huge influence on the younger brain that then turns to the teenage brain, that then turns to the adult brain that's regretting all the bad decisions they made in their teenage years, which probably had a lot to do with music. And I'm speaking from a very, very personal standpoint, because I feel this way about certain music that I listened to growing up. I think it had a huge impact on some of the biggest mistakes I made of my life. And I was a teenager. I listened to said music from the time I was probably 9. Shouldn't have been listening to it, but I was. There's no way to stop a kid from listening to a song, just like he said, from the time I was 9 on. And the music was always about partying and drugs and, committing crimes and just evil, bad things. And it was popularizing or glorifying things that isn't glorious and things that aren't good, and it made it seem like everything was all fun and games. Well, it's not. And he's absolutely true about this. So the man is humble, and he also knows the effect that music has on a young mind. That's why I think he's afraid saying what he's saying right now.
Ask you, if you're that fucking popular, then what you say has some bearing and some merits. And these children, people's children and grandchildren, are fucking listening to what you have to say. And from my point of view, it's your responsibility to give them some of what they need. And that's how I feel about it.
Okay, so now let me take that one down. And I have the video that I put together for you guys. And this is the last video. This was the one that the woman I was talking about. I already forgot her name. Libra DeVille. Not sure if I'm saying it right. Probably butchering it. It's either Libra DeVille or Libra DeVille. She's not huge yet, but she turned them down. Does that mean that she's going to continue to turn? We'll see. Let's see if we see this lady on the big screen and being promoted like Cardi B in the future. Then we'll know. So, again, I apologize if you have any young kids around. Maybe watch this a little later because this is going to get a little vulgar just in the beginning. And then it's the Disney star who's trying to change her ways and making videos hoping that people will hear what she has to say. And she talks about the Illuminati and she talks about the secret society, but she does it like with analogies. But you know what she's talking about. And again, the sound will get better after the first couple videos. Also, any video I used will be linked in the description box down below an hour or so after the video is over.
You guys still be having them little secret meetings with robes and skulls and all that shit? I heard 2 Chainz told me about that.
What?
He said that y'all had like skulls with diamonds and all kind of
You
shit.
lying like a motherfucker.
Oh.
2 Chainz up there. Are you serious? He said that?
Oh no, man.
Full of shit.
So
Always.
like some Illuminati type shit or
Yeah,
something?
it was like vanilla. Y'all were drinking vanilla.
I don't know nothing about it. Maybe I missed it. Maybe they be
Get
having
out
that
of
shit
there,
behind my back, man. I don't know.
Tell me it looks like he don't know what he's talking about, right? Like, tell me, well, let me put his face back up. Tell me that that is the face of someone who has no idea what this man's talking about. Like, does he look confused at all? No, it looks like he knows exactly what he's talking about.
You know, they need to let me know though. So.
Speaking of Kanye,
It's
real
like,
quick,
What's the most amount of money you've been offered for something that you turned down?
Let me see.
Now, what's interesting to me is this woman says that she turns them down, right? Like that they approached her and she turned them down. But it looks like she already follows some of those beliefs or whatever. You know, she's got that tattoo on her neck, and sometimes, sometimes I don't know what to think. Now that I'm looking at this, like sometimes I get thrown through a loop and I feel like they're all just playing head games with us. They want it thrown in our face, and they know that society as a whole accepts it, so they just don't give a damn anymore, really, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but
Probably threesomes. Yeah. I just be turning them down. Like, folks will hit me in the club or see me in the club and be like, yo, can you come home with us? Come home with us. We'll pay you. Come home with us. I just turn them down. It's not my
now when she says that, like, she just turns them down. It's not her thing. She turns them down because of the tapes that are made on everybody that's famous. That's why she turns them down.
thing. That whole that ain't my thing.
Why not?
Because first of all, if I'm gonna partake in something like that, I gotta pick the girl. Cause I gotta be into the girl. And I'm a clean person. So I'm not about to pull up and nobody's
Again,
expecting me to lick anybody's
it's
box. Cause I'm not.
a little vulgar.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna lick a box, it's gonna be a box that I
apologize.
pick to lick. So with that being said, nah, not no random stuff. I gotta pick who I want to be involved with.
No regrets on turning any of those requests down.
Nope.
Hindsight 2020.
Nope. Because folks is
And I almost don't even believe her, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like she's done those things. I mean, who knows? Maybe she hasn't. It seems to me like it's an ego thing, and she's got, like, what's with the sunglasses right now? Like, why do we do interviews with sunglasses on? Is it because they're on something at that time? Or, I mean, is the room really that bright? I mean, I see a white wall behind her, but I don't know. Or is it just to show off the Gucci glasses? I feel like that what the statement she just made was an ego thing, and put it together with the gold diamond necklace and the Gucci glasses. Yeah, there's a little bit of an ego thing going on here.
is crazy nowadays. And if I had did it around the time that people was asking me to do it, I wasn't even equipped with the brain that I have now. So somebody probably could have caught me slipping and drugged me and had me do all kind of stuff, had me on camera, all kind of stuff. So no, I don't.
See, there it is. She knows that this is what happens when you start moving up the ranks and being famous and being a celebrity, because she's not up there yet. She's making her way up, but she's not there yet. She knows, because she's heard it through the grapevines. I mean, everybody knows that they're going to get a video, a blackmail video. They'll have something on her because they have to.
Regret it.
Now, whether this is a booking or not for this next question, doesn't matter. What's been the biggest opportunity you've received and passed on so far? Now, this could be any major opportunity, not just some booking request. This could be something serious. What's the biggest opportunity you've received and passed on so far?
The Illuminati. I promise y'all, the Illuminati hit me up and they was like, yo, what's up? And I was like, pass. They was like, we got you. I was like, pass. That's like something that a lot of people probably would jump at.
And what is that? Like, they hit her up and they were like, yo, what's up? And she was like, pass. And they were like, we got you. And she was like, pass. I'm sorry, but no.
And I don't know how deep that stuff go, but yeah.
How was that asked? How was that opportunity presented?
You want to be down with this secret society? You want to be down with us? Basically, it was like they mean business. They were like, they wanted me. They seen something. I don't know. But
Like a person approaches you about this?
yeah.
It's not something sent in a DM type of thing.
Mm-mm. Nah,
Are there repercussions for turning it down?
I don't think so. Nah. I'm a positive person. I attract positive things to me. So no. Mm-mm.
And you chose not to join.
I'm sorry, but that was pretty confident, no? Like, are you worried about repercussions? And she's like, no. He's like, why not? Because I'm a positive person and I attract positive things. Okay.
Join because
I don't
you passed.
I
on it
don't
because
want to be a part of something that I don't understand. You know what I mean? If I understand certain things, yeah, I don't mind being a part. But if I don't understand something, I ain't judging it. I just don't want to be a part of something that I don't understand.
Any regrets on that?
Nah, because the key to life is understanding. So if you don't have an understanding of certain things, you're in trouble.
Now, you got issues with the industry. What's going down with the industry,
The
dog?
industry is full of a bunch of dick sucking dick.
Again, the vulgarity. This is where I got the copyright too. This interview is like old as dirt. And I didn't even you can when you get a copyright, it can be a copyright claim or a strike, right? But I didn't even upload the video yet. I had only uploaded it unlisted on my channel so that we could watch it together and review it together. Within like seconds, I got hit with a copyright claim for that video.
Dick riding, bending over the desk ass nigga, straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't give a fuck. Bring it. Bring it, bitch. They got this new breed of rapper that's paying DJs to play their shit.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? They sucking the record label executive dicks, and it's like there's too much.
There is a ton of sex involved with these secret societies. The sex is more of a ritual that is being performed and also like a blackmail tape. But I believe the orgies and the sex, it's just like a spit in the face to God.
Much of that going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let me be me. Let me be the artist that I am and just play my motherfucking music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now they want you all up under this, you know, sitting at the going to dinner with them and shit like that, and you know, all that favor for a favor shit. I don't get down like that. Look, I give you the music, you give my money. That's it.
So I believe just the rest of it is this Disney star that I was telling you guys about. You'll recognize her. She has a very recognizable face. China McClain, I believe. She's been going on, I think maybe Instagram and posting these stories, and I just want you guys to hear it because she's warning people, but she's doing it in such a way that like she's kind of using she is using analogies. You'll see.
Okay, so I know that there are a lot of people that are wondering why it seems like believers in God are always trying to like tell other people about it. It's like, why not just keep it to yourself, right? I've gotten that a lot since I started doing these videos. It's like, China, we get it. You believe in God. If you believe, just believe, and then like you don't have to make others believe too. But I think there's a little bit of confusion, and I am going to hopefully clear it up for you today as to why I do it and why I make these videos. This analogy that I'm going to use today is one that my dad told myself and my family a long time ago, and it always stuck with me. Okay, so we're going to call it Michael McClain's snake in the yard analogy. Okay, so say we're
This little analogy that she uses is perfect.
best friends. You come over to my house and we chilling, right? We watching movies. We listening to music, and I got like art stuff spread out, so we drawing and painting and stuff. And then I remember, oh shoot, I forgot to take my dog out. Just stay here. Let me take him in the backyard. I'll be right back. You're like, okay, cool. I leave you in the room painting. I take my dog downstairs and I unlock the door. I'm like, come on, Cujo. And right when I'm walking out, what do I see? I see a snake in the yard. So I grab my dog, rush back inside, close, lock the door. And then I go back upstairs to my room where I left you. I see that you've gotten up and you're about to leave the room. And I'm like, wait, where are you going? And you're like, oh, I wanted to go to the backyard too, get some fresh air from these paint fumes. And I said, okay. I'll see you when you get back. So you go downstairs, you open the door, you head out there to get some fresh air, and oh, a snake bites you. So you throw it off of you, and you run back in the house, and you close the door, and you lock it, you run back upstairs to my room, and you starting to limp at this point. Your leg is hurting. And you're like, China, I just got bit. There's a snake in the yard. And I say, oh, yeah, I know. I saw it when I was going to take my dog out. What would your next statement be? China, why didn't you tell me? You saw me heading in that direction. I told you I was going in the backyard. Why didn't you tell me there was a snake back there? And I said, I don't know. I wasn't trying to force what I knew on you. So I just thought that you should learn for yourself, as we all should, you know, because I love you. So I was trying to give you that freedom.
See, that analogy is perfect, you know. Someone's your best friend, right? You love and care about your best friend. You go outside, you see there's a snake in the yard, you come back in, you don't even let your dog out. You care so much about your dog that you grab your dog and you bring your dog back inside, right? Then you go upstairs, your friend's like, I'm about to go out into the yard. You know the snake's out there and you say nothing. So you cared more about your dog than you do about your best friend who you love. What she's trying to say is, you know, if we know that there is danger within following these new age religions, shall I say, or, you know, these Luciferian religions, this Satanism, you know, where it's, you know, we don't believe in Satan as a being. We believe in do as thou wilt and free will, and we're actually really good people and blah, 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 right? She's saying that to preach the gospel, you don't have to jam the Bible down someone's throat. I've said this before. You just kind of like sprinkle it in there. And if you know that there's danger one way and you know that there is something glorious another way, it is your responsibility to tell your friend, the person you love and care about, that this way is dangerous and this way is everlasting love, glory, just peacefulness, no wars, just absolute beauty, nothing but love. But that way is hell, everlasting, never ending. Well, at least until God puts an end to it. But that way is hell. You would warn your friend.
Does that make any sense? You wouldn't think that I actually loved you if I knew there was a snake in the yard. You told me, oh, I'm about to go to the backyard. And I just let you wander on back there without warning you of the danger. Now, if you told me, oh, I'm going to the backyard to get some air. And I said, oh, no, don't go back there. I just saw a snake back there. Would giving you that information be forcing something down your throat? Forcing my beliefs on you? No, it's showing you that I love you and I care about what happens to you. I do videos talking about God to warn you about the snake in the yard. That's the point. I was headed in the backyard.
And I had it muted. Well, it was probably paused long enough for you guys to read this now. Sometimes when she puts these words up, excuse me, she goes by a little too fast. The snake represents the frightening afterlife that we're choosing by ignoring God's existence in this life.
By the grace of God, I got away from the snake before it bit me. Now I see others heading towards the backyard. I know there's a snake back there, And so I'm just warning you and letting you know, yo, there's danger in that direction. And now,
and when she's saying this, she's not actually talking about like hell. She's talking about the industry. Like she's warning others of the dangers in the industry, but she's doing it in such a way that it's not direct, and hopefully she can get away with it, right?
you have a choice to make. It's as simple as that. You can either choose to be like, heard you. I'm gonna go back the way I came. Or you're gonna choose to be like, China, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm gonna go back there anyway. Excuse me. Now notice, nowhere in my analogy, or Michael McLean's analogy, did I say that I was gonna force you in the room and I was gonna forcefully keep you from going in the backyard. That would be forcing something down your throat. I never said that. You're your own person. You got free will. If you want to go in the backyard after I've told you that there's a snake back there, do your thing. You can go. You got to make your own decisions. But just warning you of the dangers. See, because I've been through certain things in my life, especially in the industry that I work in. So I know that God is real.
There it is.
And people can tell you all day, well, you don't.
She's definitely talking about the industry. She's talking about how she, like, what she grew up in. She grew up in the Disney world. She was a Disney kid. I can only imagine what horrible things happened to her growing up. She is warning everyone of the dangers of the industry, that it's not glorious. It's not all fun and games. It's not what you think it is. She has a ton of videos talking about this. I only pulled 3 because I didn't want this to go on forever and ever. I might even cut this short and we can just continue it next week. It's up to you guys if you guys want me to keep going. Let me know in chat if you want me to cut this short after this video and we can continue next week, or if you want me to just play the other 2. But she's being very careful about how she words stuff, and she's warning people that Hollywood is dangerous, that the things you hear are true, that the Illuminati is true, that sacrifices are true, that the dangers that is being right in our face now, it's all true.
You don't know that. You don't know God is real. That's a belief. You don't know what I know. Only I do. If I ask you what your favorite color is and you say, oh, it's blue, and I'm like, you don't know that. Does that make sense? No, because only you know your experiences in life. Only you know what you know, just like me. So I don't believe that God is real. I know God is real at this point, whether people believe that or not. That's the truth. Either way, I'm not going to force you to do nothing. Whatever decisions you make in your life ain't none of my business. They got nothing to do with me. But if I didn't tell you.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? What, and not only that, but why?
Okay, so I purposely left this commercial in. I did it on purpose because I record these and I cut out the commercials for you guys so we could just watch it through, right? So I don't have to skip ad every time. I left this commercial in because it was almost like she says in one of these videos how, like, oh, sometimes people say, I don't believe in God because God's never shown himself to me. He's never presented himself to me. He's never spoken to me. And then she says something like, well, you clicked on this video, didn't you? God speaks to all of us all the time in different ways. The world itself is just so chaotic and so noisy. There's so much going on between televisions and cell phones, our computers, our, just video games, everything. There's just the cars on the road, the beeping, the sounds of the cities. I don't know. I'm just trying to ramble off all kinds of different things that make a lot of noise. There's so much noise that it's hard to hear God now. God can speak to you through another person saying something to you. God can speak to you by, a song coming on the radio and a certain verse in that song being an answer to something that you're looking for, something you've been praying to God about, right? Now, what has she been telling us this whole video? She's telling us about the snake in the yard, right? Her little analogy. Now, the commercial that comes up, I don't let the whole commercial play. I only let it play for a few seconds. But the commercial that comes up, is that not God speaking through something else to all of us? Just listen.
You make in your life ain't none of my business. They got nothing to do with me. But if I didn't tell you,
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment to crawl on its belly when that's what it does?
So if I didn't tell you, and it cuts to commercial, about the snake in the yard, and what's the commercial about? The snake, and the snake's punishment to be cast on its belly, to not have legs anymore. Now, is that not God speaking to all of us right now, saying that, open your ears, open your eyes, hear the truth, hear me, right? That the Lord, He is the Lord, our Father. We need to hear Him. And if we choose to go the dangerous way, there is some form of punishment. Now, what I believe is that we can all be saved through repentance. I even believe that people who have died and gone to hell can possibly be released from hell and sent to heaven, but they have to be truly repentant. And being repentant is not feeling sorry for yourself. It's not being like, there's a difference between, say you got someone on trial for murder, if you know what I mean. You got someone on trial for that, right? And they're crying and crying and crying, but when are they crying? They're not crying when their victim's family is up on the stand giving their testimony. They're not crying while the evidence is being presented to the jury and all the photos and all just the gruesomeness of the crime they committed. They start crying when the sentence is handed down. That is not repentance. That's feeling sorry for yourself. I believe that people can get out of hell, but they have to actually be repentant and feel sorry for the other person. They have to feel the other person's pain. And when I say person, I mean like maybe someone they committed some kind of act against. People sometimes confuse what repentance is. Feeling sorry for yourself is not repentant.
If you don't know how to read biblical poetry, if you don't know the formal qualities of
about the danger, I would not be showing you love or compassion. I would be showing you that I didn't give a crap about you. And it's funny because this situation literally just happened. Our neighbor texted myself and my sisters and was like, I just saw a snake in my yard, so just wanted to let y'all know for your own safety and for your pet safety. Our neighbor did that because they have love in their heart. This is how I show you that I love you. I have gotten bullied more for talking about God than I ever have in my life. Public school wasn't this bad. Like, for real, I did not expect to have people straight up cussing me smooth out for doing these videos about God. And I've tried to do it respectfully. I don't know why I was shocked about that, though. It literally says in the Bible, it talks about how spreading the word of God is difficult. It's not easy. Jesus is my example. He is the one that I want to be like. I am not required to convert anybody in order to secure my eternity. I have accepted that Jesus paid the wages of my sin on that cross when he was crucified.
I honestly couldn't convert anyone, even if I tried to. It's a choice that you alone have to make. And that's how I feel about it too. That's like I said in our last stream last week with the drag queens and everything. Like, we can't condemn them and, they're going to hell or whatever. And we can't convert them to believe the way we want to believe. If that's the way they want to live their life, then so be it, right? But what we can do, I keep hitting the wrong button, but what we can do is we can try to lead them to the right path, right? Like, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. But sometimes when you take said horse to that watering hole, they're thirsty and they get a drink. And then that drink replenishes them, just the same as we as humans are thirsty. We're thirsty for God's love, and we're thirsty for the divinity that is God, right? Like we're thirsty to feel God's love, and we're thirsty to one day when we pass away, pass on and be with God, right? So if we could take every person one by one to water, it's up to them whether or not they want to drink and replenish themselves and their souls. And that's the thing with God. We can take people to the Bible, but we can't make them read it. We could take people to the front step of God's house, but we can't make them enter. It's up to each individual person. But the ones who choose to do so quickly learn that it fills this void that they've probably had for either their whole lives or a good portion of their lives. It's this void that can't be filled by anything else except God's love.
Of God. And
I think that China McClain found that when she found God. She found that it filled this void she had inside her. And now she goes on to preach about God and her beliefs to her millions and millions of followers, which is amazing.
I love his son, Jesus Christ. And I try my best to live my life according to his word. I try my best. I already know where I'm going when I die. But what good?
And it says, because I have it says, because I've established a personal relationship with God. So she knows that because she has a personal relationship with God, she's probably repentant to any sin she may have committed. She knows that one day she'll be with God. And she knows there is a God.
Eternity in paradise. If I have left a whole host of other people when I could have shared these things with you guys, and you could have maybe made it too. What good is that? What?
It's actually amazing to me that she says that way, because I've thought before, like just laying in bed, because I have trouble falling asleep all the time. I've thought before, like, if I could give my soul and damn my soul to, be damned eternity, because in Revelation it talks about after there will be 1,000 years of peace, and then like one last go out between good and evil, right? And at that time, God is going to make evil completely non-existent. So Satan, his minions, his little demons, and all the souls that weren't able to get out of hell will just be non-existent, and everybody else will be with God. If I could save everybody with just my one soul, I would do it in a heartbeat. And I think that she feels the same way, like with what she's saying. Like, it's to be able to save others is just an amazing thing. Now I know that I can't give my one soul to save everybody, because that's, that would in turn put evil where it doesn't belong, and God's abolishing all evil. But I feel like everybody should have that kind of love in their hearts. They should have that kind of capacity for other human beings. I hear far too often nowadays the term or the sentence, I hate people. Like you hear people say it, it's on all kinds of memes. You know, everybody hates people. We can't hate each other. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all a part of one ecosystem, and we need each other to survive. And that is the truth.
What really did I change? The afterlife is the most important part. We don't know how long we're going to get down here on this earth. I could die tomorrow. If I warn you of the danger that I know is waiting down there, and you still choose to go in that direction, I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. It don't even affect me. But if you end up in trouble, just know that I tried, because I love you. So you can't be mad at me. You can't blame me. And guess who else you can't blame? God. Because I've heard so many people say, I don't believe in God, because he ain't never tried to show me no sort of sign. He's never tried to reveal himself to me or let me know that he cares or in any sort of way. I don't know. I ain't got nothing to work with here. Really? How'd you come in contact with this video? Did it pop up on your For You page?
And that's the truth. Like, when God speaks to you in so many different ways, you could be feeling down about something like really big in your life, and then something as simple as opening up your YouTube and scrolling through your suggested videos, and you see this one video that's titled God Has a Message for You, right? And I'm using that specifically because that specifically happened to me one day. So you open up that video because of the way you're feeling, and it's a Bible verse, but it ends up being a Bible verse that is so relative to what you needed. And it's every time. You just have to have the eyes to see it and the ears to hear it. Once you do hear it and once you notice it, it's amazing, and you know that God is speaking directly to you. See, God has me doing these videos for you. He communicates in many different ways if we pay attention. And that's exactly what I'm saying. I've always said that. God communicates to everybody. The world is just so noisy. And I don't mean just noise itself too. I mean just the distractions, everything around us. There's just too much distracting us that it has separated humanity so far from God. It's just ridiculous. We need to get closer to God, because at some point when that tether between man and God has been broken, that's when all hell is going to break loose. I mean, and that day is coming. But hopefully we can keep making videos like this one, videos like my AI videos, and just follow other YouTubers who are trying to gently spread God's message and gently warn others of what's coming without us seeming like we're just absolutely insane. I've had a lot of people say that I'm schizophrenic in my comments in the past, solely because I believe God speaks to me. They say, that's not God speaking to you. That's that you're schizophrenic and you need to see a doctor. And, people who refuse to believe will refuse to hear.
Or your home page randomly? Did a friend or a family member just happen to send it to you out of the blue? I'm sorry for all the noise in the background. I don't know what is happening over there. Somebody mowing a lawn. It sounds like somebody shooting off firecrackers in that direction. I don't know what's going on, but just excuse the noise. If you don't want to watch my videos talking about God, I love you just the same. But for the people that do want to hear it, these videos are going to be here. Because in this dark world we're in, I've noticed a pattern in what is being represented. People think that this stuff is just a game. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, not just, like Satan slipping himself in a little bit. No, full on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, dressed as a demon, got upset.
So, interesting story that she brought this up. I keep hitting the wrong button. Interesting story. I'll make it quick. I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, my husband, my best friend, and I went to a concert. It was Korn and someone else. I can't even remember, because while I was at this concert, they had this man on stage who was on stilts and had like a really big head, and it was a devil that was walking around, but he was like 12 feet tall on these stilts, right? And he was just dancing around the stage doing his thing. Now, in between sets, right? They break everything down. They kind of shut the lights down. This is when a lot of people will go to the bathroom or go get another beer or whatever have you, right? So they're in between sets, and my best friend had a little too much to drink. So she's like, I got to go sit down. But my husband had just walked away like seconds before that, and we were in a specific spot. So, and he had to go pee. So he went to go to use the bathroom, and I told my friend, I was like, just sit right there. Don't move. Stay right there on the lawn so I can see you. Like, my eyes, your eyes, eyes on each other. You watch me, I watch you. And I don't know what it was, but all of a sudden I started to get really, really hot, like super hot. And I started to get this like tunnel vision feeling, right? Like just darkness was closing in. And I thought it was just like I was getting lightheaded because I've had that happen to me before when you like stand up too fast or something, you get lightheaded and a little tunnel vision and it goes away. So I was ignoring it. Then I noticed like I just kept getting darker and darker. And now I'm covered in sweat and I wasn't drinking. I was the designated driver. I don't even drink because I have kidney issues and neurological problems, as I mentioned. I'm not a drinker. So, I get really hot, I'm shaking, I'm sweaty. All of a sudden, it feels like someone grabbed the back of my head and ripped me down to the ground. I smacked my head on the ground so hard, it was unbelievable. Now, there's a crowd of people around me. They pick me up and stand me back up and put my hands on this like metal rack that separates where the seats are, right? And I immediately go back down, right? They pick me up again, back down again. I guess they picked me up again. I can only acknowledge 3 times. I was conscious for 3 down on the grounds, right? Every time I went down, it felt like some kind of force was ripping me down to the ground. Now, this was one of the worst seizures I've ever had in my entire life. Like I was convulsing like I was being electrocuted. It was absolutely the worst seizure I've ever had. My husband was at the bathroom at the time and my friend was sitting on the lawn and she was just not paying attention. She didn't see any of it, which amazes me because not only was I falling to the ground multiple times and being picked up, and it was forming this crowd around me because it was like, oh my God, what's wrong with this girl? But by like when I opened my eyes, there were medics standing over me with a wheelchair and stuff. Like how she didn't notice me, I don't know. But they brought me to the medical tent and everything. And, have you ever had seizures? What year is it? Who's the president? All that nonsense. And then they let me go back to the concert. Once my husband my husband actually came to the tent because someone told him like what happened and he came to the tent. We ended up leaving like shortly after that. And on the way home, I told him like, I really felt like that was spiritual. Like I was the one person in the audience that I don't want to sound crazy when I speak, but I was the only one person in the audience that the demons saw like as that I was their best target. I was the one who speaks to God every day. I was the one who prays all the time. I was the one who has a Christian YouTube channel. I don't know, like almost like that bad energy and those bad spirits didn't want me there. I didn't belong there, right? I seized. It was the worst seizure I've ever had. And it was in between sets. And I made a point to say that it was in between sets because there weren't any flashing lights or anything like that. But shortly before that, the devil man was dancing around on the stage. I just wanted to tell you guys that story because it involves music. Like Coolio said when we first started watching this, music has such an influence on us and we don't even know. And when you go to a concert and there's that much energy, it feeds into the power that these things have. I was actually thinking about doing a little Astro World thing next week. If you're interested in that, let me know in the chat and we'll continue in this video.
Upside down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes, and people are just like, oh, that's funny, it's we're making fun. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that. But either way, the things that you take in, that they're feeding you, those things affect you, whether you realize it in the moment or not. They affect you. That's why they do it. Entertainment industry, it's about influence.
Mentally and
I'm not going to
physically.
sacrifice the honesty in order to be politically correct. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a tough conversation that we're going to have today.
So the all 3 of these videos are her, and she was from Disney. So I feel like it's a big deal that she's forming a relationship with God.
But we're gonna do it anyway. Do y'all remember when I said that there's only one truth and it's not subjective, it's objective, which means it's unbiased and unchanging, no matter how people feel about it, no matter, you know, the people's personal opinions or whatever, it doesn't matter. The truth is the truth and it doesn't change.
Also, if anybody hasn't hit the like button for my video yet, could you please do so? And anybody not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every one of you guys. And give me that thumbs up button. Hopefully more people will see the video, and hopefully we can get our message of God out there and get our message of the dangers of the entertainment industry out there as well.
Change. I wanted to elaborate on that. Now, listen, before I go into this conversation, I want to be very clear about something. So listen closely. What I'm not saying is that if you're an atheist, you are not capable of living a moral life. That is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. So don't think that. Okay? The point of this video is questioning what the foundation for morality is, objective morality without God. Because I was just watching this debate, which is really what caused me to make this video. And I was watching an atheist debater debate a Christian debater. The atheist his name was Peter Atkins. I had to listen to this man say that the only reason why he felt it was wrong for Hitler to kill the Jews in the Holocaust was because he didn't think it was right to hinder people's aspirations or obtrude on their lives. Hitler was doing something that he wouldn't have wanted done to him. No other reason, though. But there's no real binding objectivity to that statement because that's his opinion. There are a lot of Nazis that agreed with Hitler. That's their opinion. And in the atheistic view, are we not all equal as Homo sapiens, that evolution has evolved to where we are right now? There's no afterlife. There's no God. So we're just lumps of matter with no real purpose. There's no judgment, no transcendent justice in the universe. Now, I'm not speaking from my own point of view because I feel it was objectively wrong for Hitler to kill the Jews, period. No matter who you're talking to, what people's opinions are, that's where I stand going off of the moral law in the Bible. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm taking God completely out of it. I love you, Lord. But for hypothetical purposes, I'm going to take God and say he doesn't exist. I'm going to say my best.
See, when she says that, it's not funny, but it's so funny to me because anytime, like, I give an analogy where I'm gonna like take God out of the equation, I do the same thing. I'll be like, I love you, Lord. Like, please, I'm not saying you're not like I just thought it was cute because I've done the same thing. Like though outside of this little YouTube bubble you guys see me in, I swear like a sailor. I have probably the worst mouth for a lady in the world. It's awful. It took a long time to not swear constantly while I was up here, but the one swear word, the one word I will not say is the GD word. Well, two actually, the GD word and the JC word. On the couple of occasions that one of those words have slipped, I immediately, like, I become just overwhelmed with fear, right? Like, that's the emotion I get. I get afraid. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, God. I'm so sorry, God. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I shouldn't have said that. Like, and again, I swear all the time. Those two swears, not a part of the vocabulary.
Best friend doesn't exist for a second, right? So therefore, everything that has to do with God also does not exist. Jesus Christ being the Messiah, that don't exist. The Holy Book, the Bible, and the moral law that's stated in it, none of that exists. None of that is real. So really, we also have to take the U.S. Constitution, and put it over there too, because the founders of the Constitution, what did they do? They formed the Constitution on the foundation of the Holy Book, the Bible, our very country. That's why on money it says, "In God we trust." That's why we say one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's why in court, when you're about to testify and they put you under oath, they say, "Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?" And whenever anybody says, "I do," they are acknowledging the fact that whether they believe it or not, God is watching them and what they say in the next moments that they testify. So if we take all of that away, put it over there and say it doesn't exist, God is just a myth, what real reason do we have to be moral? Because really moral doesn't really exist, not objective morality. What we're left with is really the socially acceptable and the socially unacceptable, because evolution has brought us to the place to where it's socially unacceptable to kill somebody or to rape someone or to abuse little children. That's just socially unacceptable, but there's really no transcendent immorality.
I love hearing the birds in the background when she does her videos outside. If you guys are interested too, let me know in the chat, and if you'd like to see more of her videos in the future.
To it. So really, people could argue about whether or not it's really wrong, because to some people, those things are fine. We still got killers. We still have rapists running around. We still have abusers running around. There are many people that think that that behavior is fine. So who are we to really argue with them and say, no, this behavior is wrong, if we do not have an objective moral law to go by? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Same thing with him.
So you can't use God's moral law to maintain order while simultaneously denying his existence. And what do we do today? What is happening in the world today, in America, in the whole world, but in America? That very same thing. Our Constitution was written under God, right? When someone goes to court, they have to put their hand on the Bible, put their other hand up, and swear to the Bible, swearing to God, that they're going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help them God, right? We have built a society with the foundation being good, being God, being holy, right? And that foundation we built strong. But what we put on top of that foundation is not strong, is not good, and is not holy. And according to Revelation, will soon crumble.
Hitler and the Jews. If there's no objective moral law, how can I really tell Hitler, what you did, it was wrong and you shouldn't have done it? How can I really tell him that? Because he could easily be like, well, it's wrong to you. It's wrong in your opinion, but that's just your opinion, and it really doesn't apply to me or anyone else. There are many of my followers that think I'm just fine. I'm justified in doing what I'm doing. So who are you to say that where evolution has brought you is somehow better than where evolution has brought me and all of my followers? Who are you to say that? Wouldn't that be considered as kind of arrogant, actually, to say that without an objective moral law given to us by God? It's dangerous territory. That's dangerous. I'm clearly starting to see in this world where denying an absolute truth is leading us. Just think about it like this. We are teaching our children, okay, don't kill, don't steal, or...
What's funny, I just want to put a quick little tidbit of information here. I'm full of these little tidbits of information that are absolutely useless, right? So she was talking about Hitler and everything, and then she's talking about how, we're told not to kill and yada, yada, yada. So I believe it in the First World War, there was an American soldier who was in the trenches. I think I saw this on one of Mr. Ballin's videos. There was an American soldier in the trenches, right? And he was sitting there. Everything was quiet. The battle had already been over. Well, not, completely over, but the small battle was over. So he was a sightman. So he was in the trenches. He was looking down his sight, and through all the fog and mist, he sees this shadow of a man come walking up, all stumbled. And at first he wasn't sure if this was an American man or a German man. So he waited and waited until the man got closer and they wasn't surrounded by fog anymore. And he noticed that this was a German soldier. So he sat there quietly for a minute, looking through his scope, debating on whether or not he should shoot this man. He just didn't feel right to shoot this man because he was unarmed. He wasn't appearing to be a threat of any kind. And it didn't feel right to shoot him like that, an unarmed, wounded soldier. So he sat there debating, and this German soldier had no idea where he was. He was disoriented, he was wounded, and he was just wandering around. He had wandered into the American side of where things were going on. So the German soldier looked up, and he came to a realization of where he was. And he saw the American soldier in the trenches with his gun pointed right at him. So then the German soldier just stopped in his tracks and kind of nodded like, this is it. I accept it. I messed up, right? So then the American soldier, again, just didn't feel right about shooting this man, this wounded, unarmed man. So he looks to the right, he looks to the left, see if any of his fellow comrades are paying attention or even know that this German soldier is standing here, right? Nobody sees him. So he lowers his gun and he nods at the German soldier. The German soldier nods back, turns around, goes back over to his side. That German soldier was Adolf Hitler. True story.
Or rape or do any of these things. But I'm only telling you not to do it because it's socially unacceptable. There's no God. There's no afterlife. There's no transcendent judgment. There's no self-aware higher being, a creator that created you with a purpose and with love that actually cares about what happens to you. You're just one big accident that the universe happened to stumble and produce. You came from the dirt, into the dirt you will return. But, it's socially unacceptable to kill and rape and do these things. So just don't do them. If there's one thing that kids aren't, it's stupid. At some point they get older and they put two and two together. As soon as life gives them a good kick in the butt, they're like, hold on, what has society ever done for me? Society has never done nothing but hurt me and given me insecurity issues, giving me depression, giving me anxiety. Why should I follow these rules though?
I didn't feel accountable to anybody. I didn't feel that I had to face what I had done ever.
Growing up, did you feel that you were accountable to your dad or to your mom?
I mean, they didn't let me run wild. They disciplined me. So I felt accountable to them. But afterwards, after I left the home, I started wanting to sort of create my own little world where I could be the one who had the complete control.
When did you first feel everyone is accountable?
I always believed the lie that we all just came from the slime, and when we died, that was it. There was nothing. If a person doesn't think that there is a God to be accountable to, then what's the point of trying to modify your behavior to keep it within acceptable ranges? That's how I thought anyway. The Lord Jesus Christ, I have accepted him as my Lord and Savior, and I believe that I, as well as everyone else, will be accountable to him.
Okay. In case you guys didn't know, that was Jeffrey Dahmer. Okay. And he said that growing up, he did not believe in God, and that's why he killed people, because he didn't feel like he was accountable to anybody for anything. And now he accepts the Lord Jesus Christ and God into his life. Whether or not him accepting Jesus Christ and believing in God is true, or not, I don't know. It might be, but it's probably not. He was a very, very cold individual. I forgot where I was going with that one. Sorry about that.
I mean, bird. Y'all see
I do that. I talk to animals. I talk to raccoons. I have a raccoon that I feed every night. I love that
what I'm
little bugger.
saying? Society's standards is not enough. There's no conviction in that. No spiritual conviction in society's standards. Actually, we're now in the trend of breaking societal standards. So
Wait, what did that
where
say?
is that going to lead us? We want to talk about how far evolution has.
Sorry, I want to see what that said. That's
Y'all
what I
see
mean.
what I'm
Sometimes
saying?
she does it so quick.
Society's standards is not enough.
Notice I never said that you need religion to have a genuine spiritual conviction. This truly comes from a personal relationship with God through Jesus. Amen. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. I have been saying this from day one on my channel. You can find Jesus under a rock. You can find Jesus at the deepest depth of the ocean. You can find Jesus in this very room. It's not me, but you can find him here. You can find Jesus anywhere. You do not have to go to church to have a relationship with God. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go to church. I'm not at all saying like church is bad, don't go to church. But I am saying it is important, especially for those who go to church, to know the Bible yourself, because I've been to 3 different churches now where the pastor will be reading from the Bible and he'll read this little section, right? He won't read what's before and he won't read what's after. And he'll take that little section and use it in a way that it wasn't meant to be used. 3 different churches this has happened to me. And 2 of those 3 times it was over tithes. And if you're unfamiliar with what tithes are, that's giving donations to the church. When the little basket comes around, you put in what you can afford. One of those churches preached that 10% of the family's income should be given in tithes. And he made it seem as if it was sinful not to. Those are the churches I consider dangerous. That's why I myself will suggest that everybody build their own personal relationship with God.
There's no conviction in that. No spiritual conviction in society's standards. Actually, we're now in the trend of breaking societal standards. So where is that going to lead us? We want to talk about how far evolution has brought us.
It's true. We are in the trend of breaking societal standards. And where is that going to lead us? And if this is evolution, yeah, I think it's about time. The earth is a living thing. The earth is a living, breathing, bleeding thing. Okay? The oil of the earth, probably the earth's blood. The earth breathes, for sure. The earth is very alive. Now, with the earth being alive, we are an infestation, and a very bad one at that. And the earth is going to do something to shake itself clean. What does a person do when they get lice? They get lice shampoo and they kill those bugs.
Seems we've retrogressed back to the beginning. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, look at China. She's scared about the possibility that she is just an accident caused by the universe itself. And she's not really worth anything. And nobody else is either. And there's no real purpose to this life. All that possibility scares.
If that was true, which I know it's not, but if that was true, why would that scare you?
Scares her. So she wants to feel like she's worth something. And so she's telling
It
other
is
people
what it
that
is,
they're
right?
worth something too. Listen, if you weren't worth anything and you were just a big accident, I would tell you that. And I would also act accordingly. I surely wouldn't be sitting down and taking the time to make these videos at the risk of a lot of different things in my life. It's dangerous nowadays talking this openly about God. Do I care? No, because I care more about what God has me doing because he cares about y'all, whether you care about him or not. He's giving you the option through these videos. There's something bigger than this earth and what's happening down here. Moral laws are spiritual.
Sorry about that.
It's not some.
I just want to address this comment right here. No. See, you're
something that evolution caused. Because if we rewind and we did this all over again.
Mike, my dear, you're definitely misconstruing what I'm saying here. I don't worship the earth. I don't worship the sun. I don't worship the stars. I worship God. I worship only God. I do not worship Jesus. I worship God. I have a relationship with Jesus. Jesus is my brother, as he's your brother. The earth is still a living, breathing thing. It's alive. It's very alive. And to say that the earth is alive is not saying that that's the Mother Earth religion. Like, me saying that the earth is alive does not mean I worship the earth. My cat's alive and I don't worship him. He would like me to, but I don't. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I'm not a pagan. I'm not, I'm not into any new age religion. I have a very close relationship with our Father.
Again, we could very well evolve into a whole new set of morals and values. Killing your neighbor might be totally acceptable if we rewind humankind and just do this all over again. Moral laws are a reflection of God's character. I know y'all
I
hear.
apologize. And I thought I apologize. And I hope you didn't feel attacked or anything. I wasn't attacking you. I just didn't want you or anybody else to think that I worship the earth. That's all.
A lot. Oh, God is good. I say it a lot. God is good. God is good. But it's really the other way around. Good is God. We wouldn't have good without God. And thank God we do have him. Okay, y'all.
So this is the last one. She's inside on this one, so we're not going to hear any pretty birds or anything. I forget what this one was titled. Oh, something about why she doesn't make sacrifices or something like that. And again, when she's talking, she's okay. You know how, like, sometimes something terrible happens and then they make like a children's story out of it, right? Like a cartoon or whatever. That's basically what she's doing when she speaks. She's trying to really soften what the Illuminati is and trying to really soften what the dangers are, because she's in danger if she's more specific.
Excuse my voice and my appearance and stuff. I kind of just got up. But I'm being led to say something else to y'all. So please, no matter what it is that you believe, please stay to the end so you can understand what I'm saying fully. Okay. First off, none of these conversations, these little videos that I do, are out of any sort of judgment of anybody. I just want to make that clear. They're just little conversations that we have. I usually do them outside, but it's cold. So, so I'm doing it in my room today. But don't ever think that. These are just little conversations that we have with a different perspective, in case you've never heard it. I always say that it's your choice, and I mean it every time I say it. Okay, so just to hop right in, I've ended up in a lot of conversations with people that don't believe in God, they're atheists. And a few of them have said to me that they just want to feel free. They don't do the whole, God thing.
I just want to state something. I feel like this is really important to state. The Bible tells us that it is better to be hot or cold than it is to be warm. And what God means by that is it is better for you to know and fully believe that there is a God and put yourself behind him, put yourself in the Lord's army, right? Or to believe that there is no God, right? at all. No God. It's better to believe that there is no God than to be wishy-washy. And what God means by that is that, okay, say you're born on an island to a tribe and you're never taught God at all whatsoever. You're born into this like the Sentinelese people, right? Say you're born into something like that and you're never taught about God. So you in turn don't believe in God. That person, if that person is a good person and leads a good life, is going to heaven, even though they don't believe in God. Now, on the other hand, the person who is warm, wish-washy, that would be the person that's like, I don't really believe in God, but I'm going to say I do, just in case. Don't do that, because there is no, there's no just in case in God's eyes. Either you believe in him or you don't. And if you weren't given the tools or the sight to see and to know and to have that relationship with God, but you lead a good, healthy life, you're still God's child and he's still going to take you home. But don't be one of those, I say it just in case, because this way I won't get into hell. That's not how things work. Nobody's gonna pull one over on God. Satan's been trying to do it for thousands of years, and he's yet to succeed. He thinks he's gonna succeed, but he's not. And we all know that. And we all have to keep that in mind. Keep our faith strong. Hard days are coming, bad days are coming. Just think about no electricity, how quickly, like the whole US, no electricity, how quickly things will go bad. There will be no grocery stores. There will be no gas in your cars because you need electricity to run those. And say it's an EMP event or a giant solar flare, right? Most likely an EMP event, but they would say giant solar flare. It would take years and years and years and years to recover. That alone would be really, really bad. And that's so likely that, like, it happened once in the 1900s when they were first hanging up electricity lines. And, luckily for them back then, they weren't that far into it. Think about it today. Think about how much work would have to be done to put back up that infrastructure, because all of it would be bad. God will protect all of us. You just have to maintain that love and that relationship with God, and we will all be safe.
The whole Jesus thing. They don't do it because they don't want to think about that. They don't want to think about whether or not they're sinning or whether something that they really love doing or that they do on a daily basis is wrong or not. They don't have to think about that. They want to do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they don't want to have to answer to anybody else because it's their life. That's what a few of them have said, and they've been very honest with me saying that. Very honest. And I can't lie. A part of me gets it. I think a part of every human being on earth understands that feeling. To where we don't want to do, we want to do what we want to do, whether we should be doing it or not. I have to fight on a daily basis just to try and stay on the right track. Every day, I'm tempted to do things that I should not be doing. Every single day. And it's not difficult for me to do those things. It's easy for me to do those things. It's human nature. Our flesh drives us in that direction naturally. It's hard doing the right thing. So I'm sure all of us get it. But something else that I noticed recently, just in watching people and observing them, is that we are so willing to make sacrifices.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I don't think she's talking to the general public here. And I don't think she's actually talking about the sacrifice that she's going to say. I don't think that's what she means. I think that sometimes her messages aren't like, okay, I think when she does these messages talking about God, that they are for everybody, they're geared at everybody, but they're geared at the general population like us in one way, and it's to be taken literal, right? What she's saying, take it literally. And then they're geared at her Hollywood friends in a whole different way, where they're able to read in between the lines, and she's trying to save them in the best way she knows how. And she's kind of got a double message going here. I'm not sure, like I said, everything's my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure when she's talking about sacrifices here, she's speaking to a different audience.
For people that are only going to be in our lives for a season. But we are not willing to make changes.
Especially because of her verbiage there, all right? I'm going to rewind this just a few seconds because she's talking about sacrifices, right? For people who are only going to be in our life for seasons. Who uses that as a term? Like, people who are only going to be in our life for a short while is what you would say, right? Like, she's trying to say you wouldn't want to make sacrifices for someone you barely know, right? But like I said, I think this message is geared at us to be taken literally, right? But it's geared at all the celebrities and all her Hollywood friends to be reading in between the lines. And I want you guys to put on those ears and read in between the lines as she's speaking. While she's speaking, I want you to think about the Illuminati. I want you to think about the sacrifices. I want you to think about the rituals they perform. And I just want you to think about what you know on how they operate as a whole and listen to her words. This way, we're all reading in between the lines and we're hearing the other message. And I'm going to take myself off screen so we can just see her. I paused on an awful
But we are
spot.
not willing to make changes for God, for our Creator. We're just not willing to do it. We see that as like optional. But with boyfriends and girlfriends and stuff, she don't like my hair long, or so let me cut it, or she don't like my hair short, so let me grow it out, or let me lose or gain weight because he don't like this or that, or he don't like the perfume that I'm wearing, so let me go buy another one, or she don't like the cologne I wear, so I'm not gonna use that anymore. She don't like when I don't know, leave the toilet seat up, so let me make sure that I put it down. All these changes that we make in our lives for people that are there 1 minute and gone the next. We don't see them, communicate with them, deal with them after a little while. And we done made all these changes. But we're not willing to do that for God, who never leaves. Never leaves us. Never forsakes us. No matter what we do. If we come back to him, we're really genuinely sorry and we want to make a change. We want to do something different. It don't matter who you are. Don't matter where you come from. Don't matter what you did. You could have.
You see what I mean? Like, that's geared at everybody, yes, but it's also geared to celebrities specifically. She was a Disney star, so she was young. And she feels a lot of guilt, obviously, and she wants to be forgiven. And she feels that she has been forgiven. And she's trying to preach to others that they can be forgiven as well, no matter how bad what they did was. And that's why I know she's speaking to celebrities specifically, because of the sacrifices, because of the rituals, because of the things that are known to happen at these big mansion parties.
You could have been a Satanist. It don't matter. God is the most forgiving being that I've ever come in contact with. And I know he's the most forgiving, loving, wonderful being that I ever will come with. It don't get any more than him. And then his son, Jesus, who comes directly from him, from his heart, from his spirit. I'll give y'all an example of and this just happened to me with people that I love. I still live with my whole family. I don't know if you can hear racket out there. If you do in the video at some place, excuse it, because I live with 5 other people and a dog. So, you know, needless to say, there are a lot of different changes that we've had to make to just adjust to having so many people in the house. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Having all of us together is one of the main reasons why I have so much peace right now. And I
apologize for all the extra noise. Now my husband's gonna yell at me when I go upstairs because he says I apologize to you guys too much. I mean, I kind of do though, but I'm one of those people, you know, I'm very self-conscious. I'm very, you know, I don't know. I have some trauma issues, you know, childhood trauma issues, and I'm really quick to over apologize. And just again, I'm going to apologize now. Forgive me for over apologizing. I love you guys.
get so many advantages from that piece, emotionally, spiritually. But there are some times to where I'm not willing to give anything. You know, my sister lives right above me. Her room is right above mine. We have totally different schedules. I stay up usually all night until the sun comes up. She goes to bed at a good time every night, almost without fail. And I don't just like to stay up until the sun comes out. I like to turn my life around at 6 o'clock in the morning. I like to practice my voice. I like to practice singing. I mean, the most the most strenuous songs. I like to do the most complicated dance numbers I possibly know. I just like to change things around at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And all that bumping and stuff that I'm doing from these routines, you know, from these K-pop routines that I'm dancing, she can feel it. She can feel it because it's right below her. You know, at a time to when she's asleep. She's usually asleep. And I know that. And, you know, and my dad came to me. He was just like, sweetheart, your sister can't sleep because you're doing this at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning until the sun comes up. Obviously, that makes perfect sense. But, you know, like I said earlier, there are times to where we know what we should be doing, but we don't want to do it. We want to do this over here. So, you know, and part of you feel like, well, you know, but it's like I said earlier, once again, it's my life. Like it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else, but this is the main point of the video right here. When you love somebody and something that you're doing is hurting them, do you want to keep doing that thing when you really love somebody? No, you don't. I don't see making those changes as a sacrifice or an inconvenience, really. I don't see it like that. I see it as an act of love. That's how I see it. I love God. He's my best friend. I always say that. I mean it. I shout it from the mountaintops. I love him, and I don't want to do anything that hurts him. He's done so much for me. I get so many advantages from him being in my life all the time, protecting me from this, protecting me from that, giving me this, giving me that. Things I don't need, but things that he just know would make me happy. Even though I'm sinful most of the time. He's just awesome. And even with all that, there are still times to where I'm not willing to do things that I know I should do for him. Just not willing to do it because I don't feel like it. It's wrong of me to think that way. It's wrong of me to think that way. And I'm trying to be done thinking that way, really. I'm working every day to get there. And one more thing, too. Something I realized, just speaking about myself right now, something I realized before I started trying to live my life close to God, when I was kind of just doing what I wanted to do. Just because I felt more free living my life like that, because really what it was is I didn't have any conviction for the things that I was doing, because I didn't really know God like I do now. Just because I felt more free doesn't mean that I was. I was really.
That's right, because honestly, freedom is an illusion. None of us are free. If we were free, money wouldn't exist at all. It would be where people did things to accommodate and help other people, and people who were good at one thing or another would do that thing for the whole town. Money makes it so no man is free.
Really exactly where the world wanted me to be. I'm speaking about me, nobody else. The world didn't want me to find this freedom. It didn't want me to find it. Following God, I feel I am the most free that I've ever felt. I do not care about any of the things that society tells us to care about, but we're not actually supposed to.
Now, I'm going to be honest when I say this, and I mean this. I've only got 15 of you left in here. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're almost done now. All 15 of you, we need to keep an eye on this girl, because she's got a lot of videos like this. And she's saying the world didn't want me to be free. When she says that, she doesn't mean the world. She means her world that she was living in before. That very small circle of individuals, that world. And if they feel that her message is getting to others in that world, we got to keep an eye on this girl. We got to pray for this girl, and we got to keep her safe. We're just about done here.
Supposed to care about it. I don't care about any of those things anymore. And I have no fear anymore. The world, the industry, it did not want me to find this freedom.
There it is. She said it.
I never would have found this peace and this undescribable joy, no matter what is going on around me. I never would have found this without God. You can't get to something without going to the source of it. Can't take a shortcut, try and find a different route or a different source. So he's the source of peace. Truly, I had none before I got to know God. I feel like I wasted a lot of time. It's just a different perspective. You take it and do with it what you will.
Okay. So, excuse me. My girls are sick, so I'm getting sick as well. Stuffy nose, the whole nine. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. That China Ann McClain, she's been talking a lot. I have a ton of her videos in my watch later. I'm gonna try to find where they originally come from though. But the videos I was using, I'm gonna link that down below. It was that media YouTuber, I believe. I think that's what it was. It was called That Media YouTuber. Anyway, I'll be linking all the videos down below. He has a lot of videos with China in them. I might do some more with her at another time. I did have a question for you guys though. would you guys be interested in maybe once in a while, like once a month, doing a stream where we have a topic and I can open up the panel and you guys are welcome to join in on the conversation? Would you guys be interested in that? Anybody, even just one of you? I'm always open to all opinions, you know. I don't think that anyone's opinion is unworthy. I don't think that anyone's opinion is stupid. I respect everybody's opinion. And I would love to start having people up on stream where we could watch the video together and we could discuss it back and forth. You know, anybody might be interested. All it would be is like I would pin the StreamYard link at the, you know how I pinned, what did I, my phone's over here. I pinned don't forget to hit the like button. I would just pin the StreamYard link up there. You'd click on the link. I'd see you pop up on my computer here, and you could just come up for conversation. Put my email in. My email is HeCsUsAll at gmail.com. It's all lowercase though. And I'll pin that right now. Oh, I thought I sent this message. I don't know if you're still here, Miss T, but I typed something out for you and forgot to hit send. Oh, man. But anybody, I'm not seeing any yeses. I'm guessing you must have heard me say that by now, so. That's all right. I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to open up the panel sometimes and we could have a discussion. You don't have to show your face if that's a reason you wouldn't want to. I can make it so that you're heard, but you could make it so you're not using your camera and it would just be like an emoji that you picked, or you know, like your picture that you use for YouTube you could use, or whatever. You could use whatever photo you want. Or it would look like this. Hold on. See how that one looks? That's how it would look if you chose not to put a picture in it. So if you guys wanted to join me on a stream, you know, I could let a couple people up at a time. I could do one person at a time, however you guys want to do it. And we would do what I'm doing now. Watch a video together and we can just comment and go back and forth on it. Up to you guys. It's you know, it's an option. If you guys are interested, let me know. I did pin my email at the top of the link, top of the chat here. It's HeCsUsAll at gmail.com. I also do have a PayPal. It's not PayPal, I mean Patreon. Right now, I only have one Patreon. She stuck with me through the whole pregnancy. She stuck with me the whole time I wasn't making videos. And thank you, Diane. That was so sweet of you. Me and Diane have actually become good friends through YouTube. She was an early subscriber for sure. And once she became a Patreon, I gave her my personal phone number. And I made her a thank you card because that's what I do with new Patreons. And we started communicating back and forth and we became really good friends. So just wanted to let you guys know that I do have a Patreon. I'm, you know, not asking people run over there and join. I'm just letting you know that I do have one. I do have a PayPal and a Cash App. Those will be linked below if you ever do feel like you want to support. Don't have to. I'm not asking. I'm just saying I do have them. I don't think I'll ever get my channel monetization back. So it is what it is, I guess. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thinking about maybe doing an Astro World video next week. I know that like a lot of people have talked about it, but it happened a little while ago now, and it's not like a lot of people are talking about it now. And there was definitely a lot of demonic symbolism, and there was a whole lot going on there, and a lot of people died. What do I got down here? So I think that's what I'm gonna do next week, and I might open up the panel if someone's interested in talking with me about it. I don't see anybody that is, but Anyway, God bless each and every one of you. I hope you all join me in the next video. I love each and every one of you individually. All of the videos that I used in the stream will be linked down below after the stream uploads. And as always, stay aware, stay awake, and stay vigilant. God bless.